Hi everyone, Maurice here. Welcome to Tings Invest, where we're going to be talking about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's video is for entertainment purposes only. The stock that I'm about to talk about today is Palantir, ticker PLTR. A share with respect to the market performance today across the board in the first half of the day ahead of the Biden speech, we had some sort of a gradual ramp up, kind of like a upstream type of momentum. And subsequent to the Biden speech, as you probably heard from Joe Biden himself, he decided to basically double our corporate tax, our capital gains tax adjustments going forward sometimes in the year 2021, which subsequent has very negative correlations to the market as a whole. Obviously, the sentiment around investors is definitely negative, and so that subsequently drove a sell-off. And during the sell-off, I was looking for an opportunity to buy into some of my ideal most conviction stocks, and Palantir is one of them. And I saw that there was a drop, from the all-time on the day about like a 2350 level, and it dropped all the way to the 2251 level. Despite the significant drop across the board, about like 4 or 5% across different indexes, I saw that the 22 price point was a very strong resistance level that we've been forming for quite some time now, for a couple weeks, a couple months so far. So I decided to further buy in, and I built up a relatively sizable position today to close to about 12,000 shares so far, and today I only bought 1,500 shares. So I'm going to go through my rationale behind why I decided to do what I did today. I'm also going to go through my technical analysis to go through what I see the stock going from here, and what are some optimal price level that we should look out for, and also as a side bonus, my price target for the end of the year as well. So stay tuned, stick around, and let's make some money. So just take a look at the market as a whole today. You could see that in the first half of the day, we were just kind of building some upstream momentum, right? And then up until that Biden speech, we just dropped like a rock, basically, mainly driven by, obviously, the tax yield adjustments for capital gains tax, and selling off ever since. You could see that for Dow Jones, we're basically down by, close to 1% today, and on S&P, we're down by 1% as well. You could see that same correlations. NASDAQ as well dropped by about 1%. Just take a look at the Russell as well. You can see that kind of ramped up and subsequently dropped, but the severity is a little bit less than the larger indexes, about just 0.3% today, and in comparisons to more closer to a 1% today, because of there's a lot of high growth small cap stock that is baked into this Russell 2000 indexes, and you could see that across the board, the ones that got hit the most were more like the larger cap stocks, like the more recovery stocks, if you may, like Apple, Amazon, and so on and so forth. Just take a look at Palantir on a quantitative perspective in this chart right here. You could see that ever since in January, we had this huge run up all the way to the $45 level with this like basically 50-60% gains. And with respect to Q1, Q2 so far, we sold off significantly because of the whole sector rotations, because of the 10 years yield spikes, with respect to just more the recovery play amongst fund managers and retail investors shifting their dollars to more recovery stocks, to more of just inflations of the valuations that we saw from last year, right? This pump that goes up this significantly fast in the span of just a couple of weeks comes down really fast, is more like the, pump and dump type of play. And ever since then, we sold off all the way from, the $45 level to like this $20 level. And we've been consolidated sideways for a couple of weeks so far. At this like $22, $21 level, even hitting a one-time low of the 2018 level, which was the Black Swan event that happened in early March during the Jerome Powell speech, and also somewhere around like the CPI index review around this time period as well, which kind of sold off from there. And you could see that ever since then, we've been testing this bottom right here at the $21.50 level, testing this once and then testing this twice and bounce back up again. And today we kind of sold off because of the Biden speech with respect to the tax yield adjustments that he's proposing, right? Doubling our corporate tax and capital gains tax, which has a pretty significant sell-off, right? Despite this negative catalyst and more like black swan events that occurred today, the sell was actually not quite significant, right? You could see that even though we were down today, we were only down by 0.4% for Palantir, which is across the board. If you look at like other stocks, we're down quite significantly in the index, right? We're down by like 1%, and to see that Palantir after market we are up by 0.4% shows the resilience of the stock and shows how bulletproof is this stock, and also shows how strong is this resistance level right here, right? So what I foresee as to be happening, knowing the fact that the RSI we are pretty much on the oversold level, and just kind of consolidate. I wouldn't say we're oversold, but definitely more on the oversold side in terms of the spectrum. And also look at the MACD, we are basically crossing more of an upstream momentum at the moment that I foresee us to be, pushing back up, ahead of earnings, and knowing the fact that we have had, a lot of good business development fronts, knowing the fact that Palantir did confirm their contract with the UK government with respect to, I believe, they have signed a strategic partnership with one company called Ringlier, which will formalize their strategic partnership to further the digital transformations to accelerate the shift into the digital global media industry sector, right? And also on top of that, which I will get to a little bit later, Kathy did invest 1.1 million shares into Palantir with respect to that one drop that we saw on April 20th. And she's been building a relatively sizable position right now, which we'll get into a little bit later. So with respect to where I see the stock going from here, I definitely see quite of a significant rebound coming for the stock going forward. I don't foresee us to be breaching this $21 level anytime soon, knowing the fact that we've been consolidating sideways and we've been, basically testing this bottom various different time right now, 1, 2, and 3 time now. That it will take a pretty seismic black swan events, even though there was a black swan event that happened today already with this whole tax yield adjustments, doubling our corporate tax and our capital gains tax by double. That was a pretty significant alteration to the business fundamental in a financial profile perspective, right? And we still didn't really breach that level. That shows a very strong resiliency that's forming at the bottom as a defensive bottom that I foresee us to be bouncing off of this level. And then, as we learn more about more strategic partnerships and more about like some of the government contracts and more about its business development fronts, we have heard a lot of positive news, for Palantir, signing the contract with the UK government, extending that by more than 2 years, right? Having that strategic partnership with a global media company, Ringlier, just Kathy buying 1.1 million shares of Palantir on April 20th on that drop, and also on top of that, the demo day, really just consolidate and further verify the moats and the strong value, unique proposition that the company sustains, that it's really just miles away in comparisons to other SaaS companies, right? Just the amount of unique technological capabilities that the company possesses, more catalysts, leading more of the positive spectrum side is coming for this company, which propels this company to be skyrocketing upward onto this next resistance level at about like the $30, $29.68 level, and then keep going up as we revive back into the economy and as we further come back, from this whole COVID situation that we've been enduring for the last quarters and months so far. And my price target for this will be basically rocking back to an all-time high, somewhere around like the $40 level, and then rock with this Santa Claus rally and this Q3, Q4 momentum push. I foresee us to be retesting somewhere around like the 45 level, or even pushing to the 55 level sometimes by the end of this year. So definitely very bullish, and that's the reason why I build up such strong positions and large volume position at the take a look at the lucid tracking right here. You could see that with respect to Kathy Wood's holding in the two funds that she has in Arcade and ArcW fund, she currently has about 15 million shares in the Arcade fund and then 5 million shares in the ArcW fund. And as of April 20th, in that big drop, and at the 2178 level, she bought in close to about like $25 million or 1.1 million shares of Palantir at a very optimal price level, which, as I mentioned to you in the technical analysis earlier, that $21 level is a very strong resistance level that we tested basically 4 times so far historically, fourth time as of today. So that was definitely a very good price point for us to get in, and that's why she definitely bought in. Then you could see that her shares definitely building up ever since, because she's a long-term bullish investor in this stock, and like myself, I truly believe in the business fundamental going forward, and I truly believe that despite the whole shift from the governmental side to more of a commercial side right now, as we see more adoptions going forward, more media coverage, and as Wall Street further understand the business fundamental as well, it will go up from here, and the valuation will correlate positively from there. And also taking a look at tip ranks, you can see that the ratings right now is kind of a mixed bag. And it's because there are a lot of misconceptions and misunderstanding across the business fundamental with respect to various different investors and Wall Street analysts so far. So I would, kind of take this as with a grain of salt right now. So currently with 2 buys, 3 holds, and 4 sell. So right now the consensus is definitely on a bearish side, but I think they're not really looking too meticulously or too granular into the business yet, or they probably misunderstanding this business, valuing this business as more of a consulting business rather than a technological innovative business. That's what I position it's going to be, and that's what Kathy believes it to be. So right now, with respect to the rating, they see that all time is going to be 40 with average of 24.75, which is still, if you believe and what they think, that we're still below that level. We're currently trading about like 22.50 right now, so that will give you a potential 8% upside. And we go down to $15, which as I show you with respect to just how strong of a resistance level that we're forming at the $21 level, the likelihood of us getting to 15, with respect to the strong growth on the business fundamental side of the business that we've been seeing so far, the likelihood of this would be extremely minimal in my opinion. So the $15 is just not realistic in my personal opinion. And just to recap on all the numbers that we talked about with respect to quantitative analysis and with respect to some of the charts that I showed you guys earlier, as of today, I think the 22.86 was definitely a great price point for us to get into. I think the sell-off was obviously correlates with the whole Biden speech with respect to economical outlook, but just because of but knowing the fact that despite the drop 1% across various different indexes, as of aftermarket right now, we actually up by 0.4%, which shows again, right, the resiliencies of the business fundamentals and how strong is the resistance level that's forming at the $21, $22 level. So right now, I think it's a perfect time for us to buy in. It's a very optimal level for you to dollar cost average as well, knowing the fact that we sold down all the way from the $45 level, right? And with respect to if we get down to the 2150 level that Kathy has bought in significantly in the 1.1 million shares, I think that's another great level for you to get in. If we ever get another black swan event, like something crazy happened in as of March 5th again, we will probably test the $20 level again, but that's a pretty seismic move. And it will require another major shock to the market to shake off investors like that to get to this level, which I foresee that to be unlikely. So the possibility of this would be like probably 5% in my opinion. And my year-end price target again will be the $55 level. So if you buy in at this moment right now at the 22.86 level, that will give you 141% upside with a 2.5 times or 2.4 times of your return from here. So that's it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my technical analysis and my insights with respect to Palantir today. Again, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the notification as well. I really appreciate you guys showing the support and commenting and showing the love so far. So stay tuned for the next video. Appreciate it.